a thoughtful, contemplative man faced with the biggest idea of all, that you are dying. Though we all know we're going to die, I am and you are, but he was faced with it in such a way, your death is coming at this approximate time on the calendar. And so he decided that he wouldn't walk away from dying, and he wouldn't sit in fear of it and tremble. He would face it, and in an interesting way, in as much as he decided what he would do would be to work, to bend his back in labor, to craft concrete blocks and to make a round house with only a year to live. Why would you want to build a round house, But he decided that work was as good as anything to do with what time he had left. Maybe he'd had enough of chasing high ideas. Maybe he'd had enough of writing philosophical entries into his journal and said, you know what, I'm just going to bend my back and I'm just going to work. I'm just going to stir some concrete and walk around barefoot. And that's in fact what he did.
This is an idea he got from an ex-brother. Not a Capuchin, what kind of brother?
From Gethsemane in Kentucky, a Trappist monk.
Yeah. At a certain point in the story, and I think it's the most powerful moment in the story, I think I could say that he comes to the realization that maybe that's not enough. Now, the brother said that the working, the doing, is enough. It is your life and can be your death. But at a certain moment in the book, it comes to him somehow, and I'm not sure in my reading how, that's not enough. There's another hurricane hitting them in this place in Alabama, and instead of weathering it alone, he gets up and decides he has to go to town and help the people there. That's transformative.
That's exactly the moment when the whole story changed. It was that, as far as he knew, he had just a little time to live. His lungs were burning.
Yeah.
He had coughed blood into his handkerchief. And even so, as badly as he felt, in as much pain as he was, he knew that there were people whom he had shunned for more than a year while he was building this hut who needed his help. So he decided to get out of his shell, to walk in the middle of a hurricane, to stumble, to fall, trying to get to his friends and neighbors down on that bluff to see what he could do to help them during this hurricane.
The result of that to him personally is a reduction to the point of absence, I suppose we would call it remission, of the symptoms of his tuberculosis. So that he lives a rather long life from that time and becomes, I don't know, I can't think of a word, a force, a presence in the town.
Indeed. Somebody who more than 1,000 people visited over a 6-year period, among them Clarence Darrow 6 times.
6 times Clarence Darrow, and there were others in this notebook.
Everybody came to see Henry Stuart. Maybe they knew that he was supposed to die and did not, and they were amazed by this fellow who lived for 25 more years.